Andy the big winner so far. He's been up the whole show. He's up 27,000. Prahlad, the next biggest winner, up 14,000. Art up 11,500. Ralph up 5K. Nick down 4,000. Garrett down 5,000.
God, I'm gonna bluff so much the last 2 hours.
And Matt Berkey down 47,000.
So
And Matt Berkey announcing that he's going to bluff so much the last 2 hours of the show. There it is.
yeah, sure.
I'm a full aces again to bluff. For sure.
For sure. 8.
Raise to 8.
Garrett tax.
Oh. Bad read.
I have a couple of mice when you come back. Yeah, thank you.
Good. 6. What are you going to do, right? Yeah. At least you didn't fill him up or something stupid like that. I don't know what he had, but that could have been the other alternative.
Andy with king queen.
Still yelling at him.
Now you fought the flush.
Prahlad with pocket queens. And Prahlad's going to raise the flop with the best hand here. So an unorthodox line thus far. Prahlad raised it up pre-flop to 800, a 4x raise. Andy called, and then Prahlad checks on a jack-high flop. Andy takes a stab at it. Prahlad puts in the check raise. And Andy 3-bets the flop in position. This is very, very unorthodox from both players. Andy basically saying that he has pocket 3s, pocket 4s, maybe pocket jacks. And that's it. Otherwise, he's repping some sort of draw. Or an airball like he has. Turn is a 9 of clubs.
I care. I want to talk.
No.
So Andy picking up a second nut flush draw.
I'm saying that to Ari.
Prahlad still with the best hand with pocket queens. Andy can hit a
How
club
How fast would you
or a
have called
king
with the nut flush?
or a
Our
10
king
now as he
is-
picks up a gutter
I
as
don't
well.
care body language, and
Oh.
then, so I followed up with, no, feel free to.
Oh, I know.
And Andy's going to continue firing.
That river bluff I ran on Poker Go, how quickly would you have called? Would you have beat the 18 seconds, or would you have tortured me?
I think it was 13 seconds.
No, it was 18. I went back and looked.
Andy going nuts this hand.
It was
3-betting the flop with an airball.
Yeah, I saw
Picking
he
up
had
a
enough
ton of
flush,
equity on the
and
turn.
someone told me you had a 6,
And a call from Prahlad.
but I didn't see that.
$29,000 pot as we go to the river.
But I probably would have folded.
And an ace of clubs on the river. Are you kidding me? Nut flush for Andy. Second nut flush for Prahlad. What a run out for both players. Prahlad thinks perhaps he got there, but in fact, he was already there. And now he got coolered. And after checking the flop, getting 3-bet on the flop, check calling the turn, now Prahlad is going to lead the river with queens. So perhaps he thinks Andy might have a hand like pocket jacks with a jack of clubs, or a set of 4s or a set of 3s, or some sort of smaller flush,
Thank you.
as he could have a combo draw when he 3-bets the flop as well. And Prahlad's going to lead 20,000 into 29,000, and here comes a raise by Andy for value.
Probably you want that? Oh, sorry, he's in a hand.
And Andy raises it up to 46,000. 26,000 for Prahlad to call. If he makes the call, it would be a pot bigger than $121,000. If Prahlad makes the call, it would be one of the bigger pots we've ever had on Live at the Bike. King high flush for Andy. with the ace of clubs on the board. He has the nut flush. And Prahlad with the second nut flush. Andy went nuts and got there. And a brutal run out for Prahlad as he backs into the second nut flush. And now has an interesting decision to make here after betting the river for value.
Friendly gesture.
Grown men waving at each other
I
like,
get it.
How much is it?
46 total. 26 more. 10 seconds.
Of course, deuce five of clubs is the actual nuts, but is very unlikely from either player when Prahlad raises the hijack and Andy calls the button. So effectively, this is the nuts versus second nuts, but we do know that deuce five of clubs is technically the nuts. But both players can discount that.
Could have just checked.
We use an action clock here on Live at the Bike. 30 seconds to act per decision, but each player gets 5 one-minute time extension chips. Halfway through the show, each player was replenished with 5 new chips. And so Prahlad has 5 of them to use, worth a minute each, to make this decision, if he wants to use all of them.
I wish we were playing Greek hold. Oh, it wouldn't matter, right?
well, 2 cards happen.
Yes.
I guess he'd still have me in Greek hold.
Prahlad Freeman in a tough spot.
Wow.
2 high-stakes players here, Prahlad and Andy, who have been
Jack of
around the
clubs,
Los
everyone at
Angeles
home
poker
can
scene
see
for
it.
a long time.
Jack of clubs. 2 black 5s, like a beast. Blocker, straight flush blocker. King Jack of clubs, of course.
Yeah, I'm finished. Thanks.
If I'm folding this, I'm folding everything, I guess, huh? It's gonna make me look like just outplay this shit out of me. I did feel nervous when I bet it, though. I felt bluffy. That's the problem. If I would have just been more composed. But what would he have?
More minutes.
He'd have to have
That's why you gotta love.
He'd have to have absolutely like 5-6
It's your last 55 seconds.
with the
Guys
5
who had
5-6
so much success
offsuit.
in them and they just couldn't think about poker differently.
5-6 offsuit. And you can't come up with a hand. I owe one of these?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
You owe all of them.
All of them.
They're all gone. Okay. So now I have 30 seconds.
Yeah, you better pay attention.
Prahlad down to his last 30 seconds. He's used all 5 time extension chips.
Probably gonna fall.
He will have none left for the rest of the
Yeah,
show.
close. If he doesn't, it's just painful. That's all. I did feel bluffy. He just has to have like this.
10 seconds.
Puts me on a bluff. 5-6.
And Prahlad Freeman uses the full 5-minute time extensions and makes the correct fold as Andy takes down a big pot. But a good fold by Prahlad. And Andy now up over $61,000 over after that crazy hand. Prahlad now down over $20,000. Andy goes crazy and he gets there in the river and punishes Prahlad with a big pot.
Second nuts. And they're ready.
Prahlad was getting a very nice price to call with the second nut flush,
Three
but
jacks with the jack of
he
clubs,
makes the
and
correct
they
fold.
They call you.
Correctly decides that Andy is not likely to be bluffing there.